Oh, hi, my name's Han. I'm a migration agent and a lawyer of IST. Today, I'm going to talk about how to get married with a lady in Vietnam because a lot of my clients, Western people or Vietnamese who are born here, and they come to Vietnam and get married to a Vietnamese lady and try to bring the lady to Australia on a partner or spouse visa. So there is a lot of confusion, I know. So that's why I do this video in order to just give you like a general understanding of how to get married with a person in Vietnam. So first of all, getting married in Vietnam is involve the law in Vietnam and the Australian law. So because you are subject to, you're gonna get married, and so you have to prove that you don't have like any remaining relationships. Say you used to get married with a person but you haven't divorced her, so you can't really get married to another person in another country, right? So first, before you go to Vietnam, I suggest that you should do the single status, which belongs to state laws. Like, so you can Google any birth, death, marriage place in your state near your house, and then you can come there and fill in the form, the single status form, and you get the single status on the day with a price. So, if you want something urgent, something fast within the day, then you have to pay a little bit extra. Otherwise, you can do online if you are in Victoria. You can do by paperwork if you are in New South Wales, and then you ask them to post the single status to your house. But if you have a lot of time, if you don't have time, I suggest you just have to come there and ask them to do an urgent one. The second one is after you have the single status, and a lot of people get confused how they apply for the single status. So basically, for example, you were divorced once, yeah? You divorced one. So say your divorce day is the 1st of the 1st, 2019. Then the date that you ask, the period you ask for the birth date marriage to certify that you are single, it has to be from the 1st of 2019 to the day you arrive their office. Yeah, so you pretty much you have to cover that period, not the period before when you get married, right? So that's the point. Second is the second paper that you're gonna do is you're gonna do the notice of no impediment. Okay, the notice of no impediment of marriage is issued by the Foreign Affairs Department. So you have to book for them. In Australia, in New South Wales, in Victoria, you pretty much have to book for them because it is quite a long queue to come there. So the government asks you to book in advance before you show up, because when you show up, they don't serve you. Too many applicants there. So you better make it clear that you have to call them and book for appointment. For the single status, you don't have to. But for the certificate of no impediment of marriage, you have to, okay? And then when you come there, you have to bring your desk. First, if you used to divorce, you have to bring your divorce certificate, everything original, okay? So you bring the divorce certificate or the divorce order from the court, original one. The single status certificate, which is original one, your passport, and other document to show that you have 100 point Medicare, driver license, thing like that, and a bill just to show that when you leave. So that could be enough for the notice of no impediment. But this is the one. This one is hard. The one is and a certified copy of your partner passport. So it means that the person in Vietnam, she has to have a certification, like like a notary public, yeah, to public notary, yeah, office to certify this is the certified copy of her passport, and you have to bring that to the office, to the place when you do the notice of no impediment, because they need that piece of paper in order to issue you the certificate of no impediment. Okay, so that is very important, and a lot of people do not know. And then once you get the certificate of no impediment, you have the single status, you're good to go. You're good to go to Vietnam. And just a reminder, because the certificate of no impediment of marriage is in English, right? And the Vietnamese government, they do not know whether that piece of paper is authenticated or not. You know, it's authenticate one or not. Yeah. So the first thing you come to Vietnam is you have to book in advance again to the Australian consulate in Saigon. And you have to pretty much, when you book before you go, because there's a long queue in the Australian consulate too. So you have to book it in advance. And of course, using your passport detail, then you can book it online. And then as the day you come there, you have to ask the Australian consulate to authenticate you that English word. So basically, they will give you another piece of certificate of no impediment of marriage in Vietnamese. And you will have the piece of paper which is in Vietnamese, and it says that it's certificate of no impediment of marriage. And that piece of paper, the Vietnamese authority will accept you. And then of course in Vietnam, they ask you to do the medical check to see that you are all right to marry. And then that part, the Australian law part is done. Congratulations, you're good to go. And then the rest belongs to the Vietnamese lady, the Vietnamese guy who you get married. That person have to, follow all the instruction of the Vietnamese authority to get themselves just prepared as you, just to meet all the requirement of a person who is single, who can marry. And then, they will book a date for you and that person to come to the local Vietnamese authority to sign the document to marry, to have a marriage certificate. But unlike in Australia, it's so easy when if you choose to do a private marriage celebrant, you have the marriage certificate on the day, right? In Vietnam, it's not easy that so. Because it involves you as a foreigner and a Vietnamese citizen, it's going to take 2 or 3 weeks for them to actually issue you that marriage certificate. A lot of my Western clients, they have struggled with that because they say, oh, Han, I have job to do, I have work to come back. I cannot stay in Vietnam for 3 or 4 weeks. So what to do? So what happened is, sometimes I do like this. I help the client to prepare everything in Australia first. Yeah, that he has everything ready in Australia. I don't need when he need, and I book an appointment for him before he comes to Vietnam. And then when he comes to Vietnam, the first thing is we take him to the Australian consulate. Everything done for the certificate of no impediment of marriage in Vietnamese. Yeah, everything is done for him. Then we register. Yeah, we help him to him and the other parties to register with the Vietnamese authority. But we tell, you should tell, we advise the client, you tell the local Vietnamese authority that, look, this time I stay in Vietnam for only 2 weeks because I have only 2 weeks annual leave. So I cannot stay here for 4 weeks. What happens is, they will ask you, when you come back. So, sometimes it's 2 months later, it's fine. Then 2 months later, you come back just to sign the marriage certificate. Basically, they have the procedure where when you lodge an application for marriage certificate, you sign. Both of you have to present, to be present there and sign. And then when the day they issue you the marriage certificate, both of you have to be present in the office to sign off, to say that we received this marriage certificate, and they cannot give it to the Vietnamese only without your presence. That is the problem that a lot of my Western client or Australian client have problems. So that's why I have the solution is, you come back the second time, and the second time you just come there to get the marriage certificate. So no drama, isn't it? So this is my sharing about how to get married, to register the marriage in Vietnam with a Vietnamese citizen. So I hope that this video is helpful for you, so that you can, if you don't use my service, it's fine. I just hope to give you the information related to how to get married with a person in Vietnam. And hopefully you have no drama being there and when you face the reality. And just last reminder, there is service in Vietnam that help you to speed up the process. So you might use those services to help you to register the marriage faster. And for a service, they can charge you $500 to $1,000. But think about it. If you come to Vietnam and then you have to come back to Australia and then you have to buy a ticket and come back to Vietnam just to sign it off to get the piece of paper, is that worth it? Sometimes using the service is worth it, right? So all IST can do is can help you to get every part of in Australian law ready for you to go. And your part is to make sure the other side, they would just, they meet all the demand of the Vietnamese authorities so that, your process of getting marriage, register your marriage in Vietnam is as smooth as a smoothie. Thank you for listening to my video, and I hope if you like this video, if you like it, just click like, and if you want to subscribe, please subscribe or share with your friends who are interested in register marriage in Vietnam with a Vietnamese lady or with a Vietnamese guy. And I hope you have a nice day. Thank you for listening.